Keep them informed. For example, I remember going to a bank one time, morning program, 65 people. They came in all ticked off and angry. I thought, what's going on? I didn't do anything yet. As they talked, they mentioned seeing the morning headlines of the paper. Said this bank would get rid of 1/3 of its employees the next 6 months. And that was the first time they'd ever heard that news. Let me ask you, how important do you feel if the public knows more than you do about your own company? Can't feel very respected, very informed. Keep them informed. I was flying a couple years ago from Phoenix back here to Minneapolis. All the time flying on the plane, 2 guys in front of me kept saying, what if the employees find out? Keep this under wraps. What if the employees find out? I tried to eavesdrop as best I could. Thought to myself, how dare you? I was saying in your staff meetings, our employees are our most important asset. But here they are plotting how to lie to them. Got to keep them fully informed. And the third thing got to do is keep your promises. Keep your promises. Out in North Carolina, a place called Center for Creative Leadership. Look at 21 executives who climbed the corporate ladder, almost to the top. And then they were kicked out, fired, called derailed executives, taken off the career path. Said, how come they didn't make it? Compared those 21 derailed execs to 21 arrivers who made it all the way to the top. So what's the difference? Well, I found one thing that divided the two folks. The arrivers were the kinds of folks who said, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. Whereas the people that were kicked out didn't keep their promises. You tell one of your coworkers, I'll get back to you. Just made a promise. Whether right or wrong, employees do keep score. To go back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I got busy, doesn't show respect. If you have to write down every promise you make on your piece of paper, your Google Calendar, you write them down till you cross them off. You tell one of your kids, come summer, we'll go fishing and camping up at Bemidji, have a great time camping and fishing. Just made a promise. And kid may remind you 15 times, Mom, you said camping, Dad, you said fishing, I heard you. Got kids that way? Never forget. When I was in 2nd grade, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, we lined up in the playground each morning to buy a milk ticket. They cost us 2 cents back then. One kid, Mike Fensky, forgot his milk money. I loaned him 2 cents. He has never paid me back. It's true. Never forget the promises. I was buying a new shirt. The tag on the shirt said, shrink resistant. I didn't understand. I told the clerk, I'm confused. It either shrinks or it doesn't. What's going on here? He said, well, it will shrink, but it doesn't want to. And a lot of folks would see today's topic, this afternoon's topic, work-life balance or stress management as oxymorons. After all, if you look at the latest research, 1 of every 3 people in our profession is burnt out, stressed out, or has a life badly out of balance. Just to show you that, look to your left at somebody in the room. Look to your left at somebody. Look to your right at somebody else. If they look all right, you're probably the one. But there's a true statistic. And I got to admit, for a long time, I didn't understand much about work-life balance. It was an oxymoron for me. For years, at 80, 100-hour work weeks, typically I'd be in 5 states, on 5 days, on 5 topics. Drag myself home on Friday night, connect with the family for a few minutes, and fly out again on Sunday. Didn't know I was so out of balance. So I began getting cartoons in the mail. I think from friends, they came anonymously. One cartoon said this, get a life, 50 cents. I didn't have a life, just had a job. But one that ticked me off the most, hit too close to home, said, Workaholics Anonymous, out to lunch, back in 4 minutes. And I realized if I kept living my life the way I was living it, I might be fairly well off financially, but probably single, sick, dead, or divorced. Didn't like those options. Got to be some way of having it all. And perhaps the straw that broke the camel's back, my daughter Rachel, when she was 6, put her in bed one night. Did the stories, did the prayers. She begins crying. I said, "What are you crying about, Rachel? Had a good day." I said, "Look out the window, Daddy. It's an airplane. It's an airplane." I said, "Big deal. You're crying an airplane. What's the big deal?" Well, she said, "Lots of times I look out the window and I see an airplane go by and think, maybe, Daddy, you're on that plane. And I sure wish you were home with me instead." It told me I was out of balance, not doing the most important things. The good news is I have today is work-life balance, stress management don't have to be oxymorons anymore. There are 2 keys. If you will follow these 2 keys, find a dramatic difference in your life, personally, professionally. Gave a great definition of whining coworkers. I loved her definition. She said, "Whining is anger coming through too small of a hole." Thought, yeah, that describes some people. For example, you go to some coworker and say, "I'd like your help on this project." And the person says, "That's not my..." And you feel put down or pushed aside. You go to somebody else and say, "I have an idea for improving things." And they say, "Oh, we've never done that kind of thing before. Oh, we've always done it like this. We tried that back in 2012. On occasion, those can be legitimate comments. But most of the time they're said to shut people up, back off, and don't rock the boat. The price of too many killer statements, quite simply, is killed off attitude. Let's work on this. Would you stand up, please? Help me out. Which of those killers have you heard people say before? Yeah, probably heard all of them. Which ones have you heard most often? Number 15 says, "Don't have enough help."
I said that.
You said that, yes. Other ones you've heard quite a bit.
That's not my job.
Not my job. Another one might be, 19 says, "Don't have the authority." Often think to myself, if we're going to be negative, at least be efficient. Give the list to everybody in the organization. Whenever they bring up a new idea, say, "Look at the list. 12, 22, 41, just quote numbers and save time." Let me show you what happens to people's performance. If people talk that way or think that way at work. Right here, the gentleman. What's your first name?
Ryan.
Ryan?
Ryan. Yep.
Don't think we've met before, have we?
No.
Not been in my programs.
No.
That's good. Are you in good shape, Ryan?
No.
I'll rephrase. You're not injured in any way.
No.
Your back, your arms, they're in good shape?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Come up here, please. Thanks for volunteering. Let me just stand over to the side. Yeah, you can take the steps. I'll talk to the audience for just a second. One of my colleagues, his name is Dr. John Diamond. He's a physician in Australia. Made some amazing headlines on something called behavioral kinesiology. It's a fancy way of saying that what people say to you on the job or think about you will motivate great performance or kill it all off. Behavioral kinesiology. Some of you might know the research. What I'll ask you to do in a moment, Ryan, is to put your arms out to the side. Just face me if you would, please. I'll put my hands on your wrists, I'll push down. And resist with all your strength, okay? Let's see how strong you are. Shoulder level, and resist. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Are you okay?
Yes. You're stronger than you look. This little lady right here. What's your name? Cindy, come up here, Cindy. Need your help. You take the steps over there. Cindy, do you know Ryan?
A little.
A little. Okay, great. Have you stand where you were before, Ryan, just like this, facing me over here, Cindy. I'm going to ask Ryan in a moment to close his eyes. He'll do that for 30 seconds. While his eyes are closed, I want you to look at him and think rotten thoughts about him. That he's stupid, ugly, worthless, incompetent, can't stand him.
Okay.
I'm sure he's a good guy. You just pretend those negative things about him. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
No problem, obviously.
Oh.
During that 30 seconds, Ryan, I don't want you to think anything or tell yourself anything. You just stand there.
Okay.
All right? So close your eyes, Ryan. Look at him, Cindy, and make up those private negative thoughts about Ryan. Just think those thoughts in your head. Okay, that's about 30 seconds. You can open your eyes. Did you think some of those thoughts? Mm-hmm. Good. I thought of a few things also. Let's sit back down, Cindy. Like before, Ryan, just put your arms up there. The same thing, resist all your strength. You ready? And resist, please. And you're trying, aren't you?
I was, yeah.
Yes. Those are some juicy thoughts. And you see what happens. It always happens that way, not some trick or gimmick. Dr. Diamond says it takes 30 seconds of thinking a negative thought about a person to zap their energy, kill off their performance. People say, oh, he's just getting tired from the first time, wearing out physically. It's not physical, all psychological. Try this. Would you all stand up, please? I'd like you all to look at Ryan right now. Everybody think rotten thoughts about Ryan. That he's stupid, ugly, worthless, can't stand him. We know he's a cool guy. You just pretend negative things about him as you look at him. You'll see why. Ryan, close your eyes again.
Do I need a chair?
No.
Okay.
Ryan, tell yourself, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. Over here, okay, okay. Okay, that's about 30 seconds. You can sit back down again. Open your eyes, Ryan, and like before, just face me and put your arms up there. Resist all your strength again. You ready?
Yep.
And resist, please. Good. You see the difference? Why is he strong? I whispered in his ear. I whispered something positive. What did I say to you?
I am great.
To say to yourself, I'm great, over and over. You see, if one person like Cindy could wipe him out, you think 100 folks would cause a dramatic reaction like Ryan wetting his pants. And he should be the weakest that third time, perhaps he's the strongest. Back in '52, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Said in the book, the positive thought long enough can push aside all the negative influences. Psychologists said that stupid doesn't work. Couldn't prove it really worked. Till a few years ago, Russia developed Kirlian photography, which shows the body does not stop here. There are layers of energy around the body that can be seen, can be photographed. When you think nothing in particular, like I said, just stand there when she comes up. It shows up as holes in his layers of energy. She thinks a negative, zaps him, down comes performance. When he told himself, I'm great, I'm great, he photographs a big orange-yellow halo around his body, puts up a shield, and literally, negative bounces off. To me, that's scary stuff. It means you go to work someday, not doing your own positive thoughts, around some negative thinking folks who are shooting darts at you, and by 12 o'clock you feel tired, 5 o'clock dead. A couple lessons here. Other people's thoughts may be hurting your performance, maybe your thoughts hurting their performance. More importantly, you have the power to push it aside with your own positive input. Would you thank Ryan for being a good sport? Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thanks. Doctors, repeat after me. Tell them, I'm glad you're here. I believe in you. You're a winner. You're the best. You're a champ. You're cool. You're excellent. You're great. You can do it. You're a winner. You're the best. You can do it. You're the best. Check their arms again, please. Yeah, good. Good. Great. You can sit back down. The lesson is very simple but extremely important. If you're working with people who are whining, griping, complaining, come across those folks in your marketplace, at home, wherever, Maybe you're married to them, I don't know. But if people who are whining, complaining, what I'm trying to say as strongly as I can, do not let their garbage become your destiny. Must do exactly as Ryan taught you. Tell yourself some counteracting positives. And one simple takeaway I would suggest, I've seen it do miraculous things in organizations. Take those 50 killer statements, those 2 pages back to work. Give everybody a copy of that on your team. Next time you have a meeting, challenge every folk to not use one single one of those comments to make them feel welcome. And the same applies at home as on the job. When you go home in the evening, what time do you go home? 4, 5, 6 o'clock? When you walk in the door, does your spouse say, "Hey, honey, you're home"? Or does your spouse say, "Oh, it's you"? It's the first need to feel welcome. One of my clients, British Airways, a little change in meeting this need brought a huge dividend. For a long time, they were not a great airlines. Then they told their ticket agents, keep all things the same except add one detail in your service. Use the customer's name. When you get back the ticket, use their name. It might be, "Have a great trip, Mr. Johnson. Hope you enjoy British Airways, Miss Wilson." In the 30 days they tried that, their customer satisfaction scores rose a phenomenal 60%. I don't know about you. I can count on one hand the places I do business that uses my name. People say, "Well, that's a lot to remember, all the names." Not really. When we buy things these days, usually pay by what? Credit card, check, name's right there. Most don't use it. I'm amazed. I'll be at some Target store. I might ask the clerk, "How you doing today, Mary?" She might say, "How'd you know my name?" Name tag up for 5 years, no, never ever used it. Make them feel welcome. This one time I was flying to Baltimore. I looked for the lowest available airfare. The cheapest I could find, Coach Super Saver, $1,200. Very expensive. Had to see my client. I buy the ticket. I go to check in. I fly so much they give you special check-in privileges, diamond, platinum flyers. I told the clerk, expecting nothing to happen, that the ticket sure is expensive today. She said, "If you don't like the price, take the bus." I thought, whoa. She knew nothing about this third need of making folks feel understood. It would have taken 5 seconds to say, "Yep, they're pretty high sometimes, aren't they?" I would have felt understood, respected, no problem. Didn't know how to do that. And I really believe that all of your customers, all of your teammates, even your family members, carry invisible signs around their necks. The sign says, "Make me feel important." Most effective people do exactly that. Has this happened to you? Where you ask the clerk, "Where are the Cheerios?" And they say, "I don't know, I don't know about you, but I think that's the point." They should know or could find out, but don't be bothered going through the motions. You don't feel very appreciated when they don't seem to find the answers. Dr. William James, he's known today as the father of American psychology. From his whole lifetime researching at Harvard, what brings about great relationships on and off the job, wrote this big book of research. End of his life, he was dying. A friend sent him an azalea plant. In his weakened condition, wrote a note of thanks back for the plant. As he wrote the note, it suddenly dawned on him that the deepest craving in human nature was a craving to feel appreciated. So that is seldom, if ever, totally satisfied. Nobody gets too much praise, too much appreciation. He said, if you go out there and do that with your folks, your customers, you will have power. Not power over them, but power with them. In very simple terms, there are not many folks who walk this earth who have as their mission in life to make you feel good. If you do that for your customers, you stand up from the crowd. You have power to build partnership, to build relationship. What I'm suggesting as a takeaway is you take 5 minutes, 60 seconds once in a while, to ask a little braver question and listen to the response. Maybe you have somebody back at the bank, I don't know, that it's a dad dying of cancer, and you ask, "How's your dad doing? How are you holding up?" And you listen for a few moments. Maybe somebody else in the team has got a divorce in their hands. You think, "I don't want to say anything, it'll upset that person." If they said it originally, it means at some point in the future, I want to talk about it. That's those who, what, when, where, why, how questions. think it's the best thing I do with my employees. I have employees in London and Edinburgh and 3 states in the U.S. At least once, twice a year, sit down, have lunch, and ask brave questions. It may be, what do you like about this job? How does my leadership inspire you? Or, very brave, how do I get in your way sometimes of getting your job done? We have great loyalty and motivation. It's the way I keep my relationship, my wife and I, close. When you have a job that's traveling all the time, it's hard on a relationship. So at least once a month, take a walk down the beach and ask brave questions. Ask those who, what, when, where, why, how questions. Your logo is great, being trusted partners in business and life. And the way you do that, you go beyond the superficial, ask the braver question once in a while. People say, yeah, that's nice in theory, going acting enthusiastically, but what if you're understaffed in your department? What if your boss hasn't got a clue? What if your kids won't listen to you? Your husband or wife is difficult, is a nag. How do you stay enthusiastic around those types? Well, the answer's right there, that second point. And that is, do not catch the other person's disease. He says 85% test out as reactors in this country. They don't think, just react. If you'll choose to be an actor, that 15%, and it's a choice, most will follow along. Be an actor, not a reactor. Got kids like that? Never forget. Remember when I was in second grade, we'd line up on the playground every day to buy a milk ticket. It cost us 2 cents back then. One kid on the playground, Mike Fensky, forgot his milk money. I loaned him 2 cents. He has never paid me back. It's true. Never forget the promises. I did for many years a 5-day peak performance boot camp. We begin at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, go to midnight. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 50 hours in 5 days. Very intense training. It was so popular, people would wait 3 years to get into the class. I'd offered 8 times a year. Despite the fact they would wait 3 years to get in, some got in who didn't want to be there. They were forced to go by their manager to get shaped up in some way. Or some student would get some credits at the university quickly completed. They didn't seem to want to be there. I didn't have a lot of this interest in them. I kind of write them off. In one class, had a guy maybe 27 years of age. Looked like my stereotype of a jock. He was muscular, buff, and great shape, but he acted cool, aloof, and arrogant. He wouldn't get involved. He'd sit back like, how silly. Stand up, sit down, talk to this person, talk to that one. Communication skills, how silly, how stupid. He didn't say it, but he looked that way. I thought to myself, hey, buddy, get involved or get out of here. Don't waste my time. Besides, who wants you for a partner like a bump on a log sitting there? Didn't say it, but thought that. 4 nights into the class, he makes his first comment to the group. When I was back in grade school, he said, I was the puniest kid in school. I was picked on, beaten on time and time again. Got so sick of being beaten on. Began working out in weights. 2 hours a day, 3 days a week for the last 12 years. And suddenly I realized something. Every bit of free time he'd ever had, he used to get his body in good shape. He'd achieved that goal. He's coming to class to learn about communication. He wasn't acting cool or aloof or arrogant. For heaven's sakes, the guy was shy. Didn't have any communication skills. I'll just sit back and listen till I understood that. I wasn't very good at being his teacher, his coach, his mentor. Another class had a lady maybe 250 pounds. I thought to myself, hey lady, go on a diet, exercise, take care of yourself. I'm not proud to admit to you that I was that shallow, that judgmental years ago. But that's where my head was. One night she said to the group, her first comment, she said, I feel so good about myself. Last year I weighed 348 pounds. I'm down to 241 right now. And there went the judgment. I suddenly realized that I seldom have enough data to play God and judge somebody else. What I've learned is I get a little bit older, a little bit wiser. So as many of my snap judgments, first impressions, stereotypes have been wrong. I take time to really understand somebody else. Typically I have more respect and less judgment. Difficulty is we're all busy folks. A snap judgment can be made in a snap. It takes a few seconds. It takes time and skill to really understand somebody else, show interest in them. But this is the magical part. I've learned that when I show interest in folks, I always get more from folks. For example, I eat a lot of meals on the road. I look forward to a nice meal in the evening. I stopped at this one restaurant. I asked the waiter what he recommended. He gave me the name of 2 other restaurants. I went, whoa, when he said, gotcha. I'll give you good service, you'll be happy. And of course, I liked him more, he got a bigger tip. Putting fun in the workplace, a few seconds here or there.